This month is a very special month. It's a Summerton Whisky Club month, and I've got the bottle right here. Welcome back, Dram fam, to the Whisky Diary. For those that don't know, the Summerton Whisky Club is an online whisky club. You pay £50 every 2 months, so on average £25 a month, and for that you get a random bottle. Usually everyone gets the same bottle, and for the most part there is a fairly good sized saving on the bottle than if you'd have bought it yourself, and they are usually pretty damn good. Now I've got to say, the last two haven't really been to my taste, but if I look at the savings that I would have made over the course of the year, to be honest, I've probably saved in the long run anyway. And the whiskies weren't bad. They weren't bad whiskies, they just weren't necessarily 100% to my taste, and that's okay. Just for the record, I do pay for my subscription. This is not an ad of any sort. I am a member of the Whisky Club, and Dan, the owner of the Whisky Club, sends me the bottle, and a couple of other YouTubers sends the bottle just a little bit early so that we can make this video to be released at the same time on bottle release day. Now, this month's bottle got me very excited indeed. This is the 16-year-old Fettercairn third release. That, of course, makes it a 16-year-old Highland whisky, bottled at 46.4% ABV. It is unchill filtered. Now, I have seen a few outlets, Royal Mile Whiskies being one of them, who I trust to be fairly accurate. They state that it is in fact natural colour. I've seen a couple of other reviewers state that it is natural colour. But I have also seen on other websites state that both previous releases were artificially coloured. It doesn't say it on the bottle, so it's up to you to decide really whether that's important to you. Moving on. This is a vatting of ex-bourbon, ex-Oloroso and ex-PX sherry casks. And this retails on Master of Malt for £71.64, but of course if you are a Summerton Club member this was £50. So why did this excite me quite as much as it did? Well, almost a year ago to the day, 1 year and 2 weeks ago, I reviewed the Fettercairn 12. Now, I liked the Fettercairn 12, I still do like the Fettercairn 12, but I had two complaints about it. One, it was bottled at 40%. I just did not feel that that whiskey had wallop. It did not have the excitement that I look for in a whiskey. It just felt a little bit hollow. And secondly, I wanted to lose the artificial colouring and the chill filtration. Maybe the chill filtration contributed to that hollow texture, that lack of fireworks, but we'll never know. But when it comes to this, that's exactly what I've got. With regards to the colour thing, now as I say, I know a few outlets stipulate that this is natural colour, but a few other places said it has. Fettercairn, put it on the bottle. This is something to be celebrated. I said in my last video that I felt that Fettercairn were stuck in their ways. They're an old distillery making whiskey to the same kind of standards that their customers would probably have looked for, you know, years ago. But I think modern whiskey drinkers now, we look for the 46% and above, which we've got, the unchill filtered, which we've got, and potentially the natural colour, but it's not on the bottle, so we don't know. To me, this is something that should be celebrated. So please put it on the bottle. But all of that nonsense aside, let's get down to tasting it, shall we? Right up front, on the nose, apple juice, honey, maybe a little bit of ginger in there as well. Right behind that, toasted cereals. There's a really nice fruitiness. Maybe a little bit of a toasted coconut in there, dried bananas, like a little bit of a tropical dried fruit thing going on. And right on the tail end, I get a really nice bright, almost sour cherry fruitiness. It's like a really nice bright red fruits flavour. It smells absolutely wonderful, and it smells big, and it smells juicy. It doesn't feel like it's lacking anything on the nose. On the palate, right up front, loads of that apple comes forward. Really nice sweet apple juice, like apple diluting juice. Right behind that, we immediately get all that honey sweetness, really sticky honey sweetness. Along with that, you start to pick up the sherry spices, you know, some sultanas, like dried fruits, almost like a Christmas cakey kind of vibe. But it's not a big Christmas cakey whiskey. It sits with like a nice light fruit up front, and it's only then that it starts to darken and you get the Christmas cake and the sherry notes coming through. Over time, it starts to get a bit woody, almost like sweet and sticky, a little bit resinous, kind of like a bit of a Coca-Cola vibe, to be honest. On the finish, finish-wise, really nice, warm honey, almost a jam-like, red fruity, like a jam, like summer fruits jam sitting around. And right on the back end, that kind of sherry spice starts to turn almost a little bit chocolatey, maybe a little bit nutty. I guess we could almost go down the dark chocolate and like hazelnut path. So overall, what do I think of it? I think this is a great whiskey. I really like this. It has everything that I wanted from the 12, just dialed up to where it should have been for the 12, with just a little bit more kind of rich spice right in the middle. So would I pay £70 for it? Well, let's have a look at the market right now. I went on Master of Malt and I searched for 15-year-old whiskies that were in stock. 15 single malt whiskies that were in stock. There were 99 of them. 57 of those sat somewhere between £50 and £100. I scrolled through the list of the 57 and it was fairly evenly spread, with the majority sitting somewhere between kind of £65 and £85, which is about where this sits. Now, is this whiskey bringing something wild and uniquely different to the table? Does it have anything that really stands out about all of the other whiskies that I saw there? No, it doesn't. But what this is a really good example of a well executed Goldilocks whiskey. It's not too spicy, it's not too sweet, it's not peated, it sits right in the middle of what I would consider like the palate for whiskey drinkers. I think for you to actively dislike this whiskey, you're probably going to dislike the majority of single malt whiskies. If you like whiskey, you will probably like this. And I think £70 is actually a pretty good deal. I think if it was 60, it would be an absolute no-brainer. 65, I'd certainly be buying it again. 70, I'd say that's probably worth it, especially if you like this style of whiskey. But anyway, that's enough from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and an extra special thank you to all of my patrons over on Patreon. Let me know down in the comments if you've tried this, especially if you have tried any of the other Fettercairns that were bottled down at that lower ABV, and let me know if this is something that you would consider, knowing that it is now up at that higher ABV and we have lost the chill filtration. And on that note, Slàinte mhath.